They the Roy's new podcast, who want the smoke? Coming raw and uncut like who want this dope? Whatever you want, they for sure to cover the topic. From racial issues to fashion flies to cockpit. Y'all ain't never get it like this, cause they ain't never did it like this. We on our this the way the cookie crumbles for y'all. She gon' bring the inspiration to all. You know what's up with her. And this shit manifesting is a vision. And y'all gon' love TJ cause he the realest. From the heart of a mob, they the start of it all. You looking for a holler and holla at your rug. The professor, nothing lesson, coming at you with the lessons. Get your edge if you knowin' what's good for you. They educated, but they still keep it hood for you. Won't need another, this one here really do it for you.
Baby, the flow is yours. Yeah, baby, I know the flow is yours. If it come down to the flow is yours. Let me show you how pro the flow is yours. 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 The flow is yours.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another E&M segment, and thanks for tuning in this evening. We have a special guest tonight that's going to kind of give us some game on this tax credit information that people need to know about, and some other tax related info that he's very well versed in. So make sure you pay attention, tune in, get something to write down with, because he gonna have a lot of jewels to pass around. So
yes, sir.
Y'all get ready for it, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this info around with others. And we're gonna jump right into this. First, let me introduce this young man, Mr. Pondexter. I'm gonna let you do all that, man, because you got such an extensive background. I don't want to be all day talking about you, so I'm gonna let you do that yourself. Go ahead, man.
I appreciate it, man. I just gotta say, boy, that's the hottest theme music in podcasts, man. I'm telling you, man, that's certified. Well, that's certified. Guess who back? It's that cat with the platinum plaits. That's what that's Jaheim, right?
Yeah.
So he's all about awards and stuff like that. We're not about awards. We're about disseminating information that's helpful to the community, right? Awards and no awards. And so we've been in the financial sector for over 30 years, 3 decades. My company, Stone Consultant LLC, we little boutique company, but we service all 50 states in the area of asset protection, estate planning, business advising, and so we like to see people win at this money game. Financial literacy is a big deal. So for titles or things of that nature, I consider myself a financial literacy educator. So the more literate you are about financial matters, the better you can survive this financial game. So once again, this is our second, maybe third time here at the podcast. Number 3. And we will get more familiar with me as we go through the segment on taxes and tax credits and how you can win.
Well, cool. I just want to go ahead and again, like T. Will said, get this conversation started. I know before we can even get to the tax credit, you talk a lot about tax strategy, because if you ain't got the right strategy, that money means nothing to you. So why is it important to have a right tax strategy?
Absolutely. Number one reason is that it is one of your biggest bills, right? Or your biggest expenses, however you want to frame it. Your taxes, it's a bill. It's an expense, right? We're suggested to have no more than 31 to 33% of our income go to living, right? Superman, right? When we're trying to get a loan, trying to get a home,
what they say.
That's
right?
right. That's what that's
Right. So the more income you make, it's just a nominal tax bracket in the United States of America is 33%. That's state and federal taxes, right? So is that not a big expense, right? So you're making $100,000 and you live in a high tax area, Illinois, California, 33 to $38,000 of your income is exposed to taxation, right? That Uncle Sam wants, right? So now, if you can have a tax strategy that's legal, moral, and ethical that can reduce your tax liability 50 to 70%, and then put that money back into your pocket for educating your children, for saving for retirement, life will look a little different at age 65. So
Absolutely.
taxes is a very critical subject, and $30,000 a year at a six-figure earner, whether that's two people making 50, that's the education. You could educate yourself in 2 years and become a tax expert for 60 grand, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, I think so. So that's why I think that taxes are so critical. That in your wealth building strategy, if you don't have a tax strategy, wealth will never be yours. You can make all the money you want, and them taxes will kill you. We hear it all the time. Highly compensated individual athletes, don't want to pick on them, and entertainers, but they're highly compensated and they don't handle their taxes well, right?
Yeah.
And they end up in trouble. So
Yeah,
I can go on and on in that vein about why taxes are important, but I think we got the gist, right?
yeah. And I just want to bring some more understanding when you were talking about how much is exposed. You're not just saying what comes out of our paycheck. This is our day-to-day living, whether we're buying groceries or at the gas pumps or clothes, things that we need. There's tax on all.
Man, that's very astute, man. You sound like you got some financial literacy there, young man.
Yeah,
So taxes, not only income taxes, sales taxes, excise taxes, property taxes, business taxes, right? Tax. So when we combine those taxes, it could be as high as 71%, right? Yeah. So we can see when business owners and wealthy people, the only thing they overpay for is education and a tax accountant. They'll overpay for that. They no question, they writing a check. Yeah. No hemming and hawing, writing the check, right? So you're absolutely right. Once again, I want to get that to you, as you stated, income taxes, sales taxes, property taxes, excise taxes. What are excise taxes? They're already baked in the product, in the fuel, in electricity, our cell phone bills, our consumer goods that we purchase that are manufactured. So they're already baked in, right? And then property taxes. Then if you're a business owner, payroll taxes, right?
That's right. Man, you ain't got much money left, man. So that's why, I think about how people laughed and at Donald Trump. But Donald Trump understood it. I'm not saying that he did it legally and morally and ethically.
Right. Yeah.
Like, man, he had to reduce his tax liability. And what's that one year he paid like $750, which is
made hundreds of millions of dollars of revenue, right? Yeah. It seems unfair, but that was just income taxes, right? But how can you get around sales taxes, right? Anytime you go buy something, you got to pay that. How can you get around You got all this property, you got to pay them property taxes, right?
Yeah.
Or that municipality will take that sky rise.
Yeah.
Right. He had to pay utilities, excise taxes. Yeah. Now you're able to reduce those things with very smart tax people, but they got to be paid, right? So, but when you talk about income taxes, there are no laws that prevent you from organizing your affairs in such a way that you don't enrich the U.S. Treasury, right? Yeah. for
Yeah.
his income taxes are concerned.
Yeah. Well, that's
Okay.
good, man. And I know T Will got a question. I was just going to
I know
point out
T.
something.
Will. I see him biting
Oh,
at the bit
oh
over
yeah,
there.
man. I want to get straight to the meat
Yeah,
because I don't heard. Well, for number one, I know Dale, it's done happen for Dale, and I
Uh-huh.
know it's done happen for you, G. So I just want Josh to kind of, well, G, I'm gonna let you kind of go into it first about what you did and when we learned at the seminar that we went
yeah,
to Josh's seminar when he came out here and he
yeah.
kind of introduced that to us, and I really didn't know about it. I didn't know, and I was trying to explain, and I was like,
Mhm.
man, I still couldn't get it. But then when G and Dale came back was like, hey man, look, we just 5 hours and we getting it back. I don't know
Mhm.
if you want to tell the amount, G, but that I'm gonna leave that to you. But
Mhm.
this is
Yeah.
straight up real. Like what
Yeah.
they're about to say,
Yeah.
this is straight up the real deal.
Let's
So
go.
y'all tune in and y'all check this out. What they about to go
Let's
go
go
ahead.
ahead and get in it. Let's get in it.
Let's get
Feet
in it.
first.
So again, what we talked about earlier is first having the right structure, so this
Mhm.
can be afforded to you. So
Yes.
first, what is it, and why did it become available?
Good question. So we all remember when Biden first legislated accomplishment was the signing of the infrastructure bill.
Yeah,
So in that infrastructure bill was money for small business owners, right? And by the way, Americans, I don't know if you've been on American roads lately. I drove from Illinois to Alabama, Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee. These roads are looking beautiful. That money's going to work out there. I'm
yeah,
gonna start driving more often, right? So in that bill was something called the credits for sick leave, family leave for certain self-employed individuals. It's part of the COVID relief package, right? It was tucked inside this new bill, right? And it didn't get a lot of publicity, right? A lot of people didn't know about it. Some people are talking about it now because it's almost in the tax season, right? So some people. So this form, right? There's a form with the IRS that you can ask your tax preparer to get. It's called the 7202. It's form 7202, and it has the instructions on how to claim this credit, right? If you are a sole proprietor, meaning that you're operating your business from your social security number, you qualify. Or you are LLC, right? You qualify. What you need is a Schedule C, right? And so I think that's in the list of questions, and so I'm not going to get into that, but let's say the credit is called the credits for sick leave and family leave for certain self-employed individuals. Don't make no sense, right? It doesn't even sound like COVID tax credit for small business owners, right?
right.
But it's form 7202. This is what we want to let our listeners know. We want them to tell their tax preparers about this form 7202 to claim this tax credit. And if they don't know how to do it, because I didn't have people say, well, no, you can't amend your taxes, you can't do this, you can't do that. Wrong person. I have a couple people personally I train to do it, right?
Yeah.
The tax credit is real. And personally, I received $32,000, right? And
30,
30,
32 with 3 zeros leading
30
behind it, or
32,
what?
32, no, 30, yes, absolutely. 3 zeros behind it. $32,000 cash from the United States government, a tax credit, what's called a refundable credit that's given to me in cash, and I never have to pay it back. So that's $32,000. If I take that and put it in my business and make $150,000 off of it, woo, I'm double dipping,
Yeah.
right?
Hey, Miss Cookie said that's what he said, T Will.
Hey, I know. Look, I'm telling you, man. People are very skeptical about this because, for number one,
Mm-hmm.
you got to have the right team to do this, right, Josh?
Yes, sir.
You
Yes,
just
absolutely.
anybody just can't, because if you
Right.
don't understand the dynamics of with filing this 7202 form.
Yes, sir. That's
Okay.
Form 7202. Right.
Okay. If you
Yeah.
don't understand the dynamics of filing that form, then you won't know. Another thing is, Josh, so say for instance when COVID hit back in
Mhm.
2020, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What if you didn't file that form 7202 back in 2020, but you did it in say for 2021? Could you go back and file for 2020?
Okay, great question. So Biden president's administration started in 2021, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
So so that's when his legislation kicked in. So it was for tax year 2021. So this is this is year 2022 when we filed 2021, right?
Gotcha.
So say for instance, if we don't get it this year, October the 15th, this tax year ends, right?
Mhm.
So am I out of luck? No, you're not. No, you are not out of luck. You can go back 3 years and amend your taxes. So 2021. So it's filed in 22, 23, 24. If you don't get claim this credit in 2024, you're out of luck, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Now you can go back and amend your taxes 3 years. Uncle Sam can look back on your taxes for 20 years, right? So T Will, to your point, you need the right tax team to make sure your stuff is done right from time immemorial. So you always
Okay.
want to have your books solid because Uncle
Yeah.
Sam can go back and back.
Yeah. So here's a question you talked about. It's around who's eligible. So you said these people that do a Schedule C.
Okay.
If I'm a sole proprietor or
Mhm.
whatever, and I was operating a business, but I initially in the beginning of tax season, I filed just personal, no
Yes.
business.
Right.
But I said, you know what? This money is available. I need to go ahead and file as a business. Can I amend my taxes to file as a business that would allow me to claim this tax credit?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've been doing this for 20 plus years. I have had uh, guys that work full time jobs and did a photography on the side, right? And it's like I said, have you ever claimed this business? And they go like, no, I never claimed this business. I said, we're going to amend your taxes for 3 years, right? And claim it, and
Wow.
then we get money back. And when Uncle Sam send you money back, he sent it to you with interest, right?
Really?
Yeah, he sent it to you with interest. I
Yeah,
was
because when you got to pay him, it's with interest.
right. And that's only fair, man.
Yeah,
And they
it's
giving out.
only fair.
I just got another check, tax check from the state. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, they giving out checks. There's cash out there. So amendments. So let me know.
Yeah.
Getting too jokey, but to answer your question, yes, you can go ahead and claim that business. Because you've been operating in the business, you've been working the business. You just didn't know. You thought you had to be an LLC or corporation, right?
Right.
So what's the Schedule C? A Schedule C is a schedule, right? So you have schedules in your 1040. Right.
Yeah.
And so you don't have a separate tax return like when you have a corporation, you do a total separate tax for the business. But when you an LLC or sole proprietor, that Schedule C is for self-employed individual, right? So
Okay.
if you are LLC, you treat it as a self-employed individual and you get that schedule, right? Not to get too technical, but if you're operating a barber cutting hair or a beautician, and you're just doing it on your social security number, you have a Schedule C, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, you have
Okay.
a Schedule C. Okay.
So that's good information. And just the recap, because a few people have actually asked me that question. They
Mhm.
filed personal taxes,
Yes.
without the business. No, because now that this available, they were like, man, I think I missed out. And I told them I was going to ask you, can they amend it to file as a business? And your answer is yes. And that
My
will
answer,
allow them to
my
do
answer emphatically is yes. So
Okay.
so here's the deal. I have had clients that had which that questions if you file as an S corporation or you exempt from Form 7202. I wouldn't use the word exempt, Lily. I would say because I was definitely about to bring this S corporation scenario up. You're not exempt. You don't qualify for Form 7202, right? So the word exemption is not the word. You don't qualify. So I had a client that had multiple business. So one was an S corp. So they said, well, hey, I can't get it because I got an S corp, but you got this LLC, right? So we filed it on the LLC, and they got over 30 grand. Right.
Wow.
So what's the difference? Why they don't qualify? Just S corp just don't qualify?
They don't. Yeah, they don't qualify because they don't have
Okay.
a schedule. They don't have a Schedule C.
Okay.
A S corp is a corporation, right? That you identify as an S corp. What you do for tax purposes, you make it look like an LLC, which makes no sense. You should have just got an LLC, right?
Yeah.
The power of an LLC is that you start as an LLC, and then year 1, year 10, whenever in the future, you can change that tax identification with the Internal Revenue Service to have it taxed as an S corp or C corporation, right?
Wow.
That's what makes the LLC so powerful, right?
Yeah.
As a tax strategy, right?
Yeah. So here's
Mhm.
another, and it's around eligibility.
Right.
So if this is for COVID, do you have to prove that you had COVID or that you was affected by COVID or your business was affected by COVID?
Great question. That's a great question. Who was not affected by COVID? You're talking about, did you actually contract the virus?
As a contracted or someone in your organization or something?
Right. No. You personally, because this is self-employed. You claiming the credit because you was impacted by COVID. So now, is the government going to violate the HIPAA laws? They ask you to prove up.
They can't.
No, they can't. Right. So the short answer is that there's no prove up. You claim the credit. Who was not impacted by who was not as a business owner impacted by COVID? I contracted the virus. A lot of people contracted the virus. You might have had it, didn't know you had it.
You're right.
Right. So all you do is claim the credit and for yourself, and then for a family member. So this is, and I might be jumping the gun, T. Will, when I'm talking about how to get up to $36,000. You want me to hold that for a minute?
Yeah. So
just I will keep going because I'm this gonna lead into something else. So keep going.
Yeah. So so to that person who asking, do I need to prove up? So here's what if your business increased during COVID? You see these questions over here.
Yeah, we're gonna go.
Shame on you that it took COVID for your revenues to increase, right? Your revenue should be increasing every year. No, I'm just messing with her. But but it did. A lot of people revenue increased because they got focus.
Yeah.
We should be focused about our business at all times. So I know Lily. I'm just messing with her. I see her asking those questions, but get me back on track. What was the question?
Here's another right here. Can you get this tax credit for multiple business to receive multiple payments? Man, that's a good one.
Man, I don't think so. That sounds like a tax cheat. You only one. You're only one person. You only one person. You claiming it for yourself personally. You can only claim it once.
But I can see why somebody would ask that question because if they got multiple businesses,
right?
They would think.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying too. I see because by the way,
is that spooky? Spooning?
That's spoon. Hey man, let me tell you. Say that young man right there. That's like my son. That's my nephew, man. And I'm gonna tell you something.
Let these people know I'm playing with him now.
He got no. He got. Hey man, this I have to tell y'all later about his story, man. But he finna write a book. He gonna have
Right.
a book coming out about himself, what he done so far, and he
Right.
got a couple of business going in
Wonderful.
water
Wonderful.
company and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So he always need
But
help with
Brother
tax stuff.
Spooney, one. You
There you go.
one time. Claim
Yeah.
one time.
So
Yeah.
here's from Miss Betty Campbell. She's been on the show once before.
Okay.
She's coming in from Oklahoma. She says, "What would you charge to file this for our business?
What would you
How
charge?
much do you charge to file for
Well,
them to get this?"
that's a great question, right? So I have a better question. Now, first of all, I'm not a tax preparer. I don't even look like a tax preparer. I'm a tax strategist, right? So, have you ever employed a tax strategist? A tax preparer charge anywhere between $500 to $1,000 to do your tax return. I'm a tax strategist. You know, I'm charging thousands of dollars.
And what's the
Right?
difference?
Well, the difference is that you have a tax liability to the United States, to the IRS for $60,000, $70,000, and I bring back and literally put $40,000-$50,000 of that back into your pocket.
Yeah.
I want 15% of that.
Yeah.
That's the difference between a tax strategist. If you take your tax liability to a tax preparer, and you owe $40,000-$50,000, all they're gonna do is say, "Well, I don't see nothing in here to do. We did this. We deducted the soap. We we deducted your suits, your cleaning, a little travel. Did you take some education expenses? No. That's the difference. Do you have a large profit to benefit from the credit?
Yeah. So
Do
you have to have a large profit to benefit from it? So can you be a
right. Yeah. No. You don't have to have a large profit. Actually, you don't have to have any profit at all. All you need is revenue, right? So in order for you to file taxes on a business, you have to have gross returns of a minimum of $400. Then you're required to file a tax return. So you could have made $200,000 and only showed a profit of $400. You had revenue, and you can claim that tax credit. And here's what's so beautiful about that tax credit. Say, for instance, if you owe the IRS money. So there's two types of tax credit. There's the regular tax credit, which will just wipe out tax liability. Then there's the refundable tax credit that will wipe out your tax liability and then refund the rest to you. So you got $30,000, you owe $15,000 in taxes. It'll wipe out that $15,000 and they'll send you a check and you'll be debt free with the IRS. That's the beautiful thing about this tax credit, right?
Okay. So I just got a request to elaborate on the charge, how much you charge. So specifically for her, it's going to be dependent on.
No. Number one, I don't do taxes. I'm not a tax preparer, but I have people in my network that do taxes, right? And they do tax return. And for this amendment to your taxes, to get this, I would say they charge about 10% of what you get back. So if you got 30,000 back, they probably want about $3,000.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's fair.
I think 36 and give away $3,000.
Right. Yeah. Right. So now here's what we want to do with costs, right? People who don't have tax professionals and they want to speak to me about this issue, they can come through the pod. They can contact the podcast, and then I will get the information. I will call them, and it will tell them about expenses because there's multiple ways to do it.
Yeah.
Right. Multiple ways to do it, because if you do it, here's what I'm gonna say. You claim the tax credit currently right now, it's going to take 16 weeks to come back. Right. So if you get a tax preparer that going to wait 16 weeks, they might want the whole hog. If you pay half of it up front, you can just get away with paying half.
Yeah. Depends on that preparer. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, depending on the preparer, right? So everybody want money now. If they got to wait on their money, minimum of 16 weeks. Right?
That's a long time, man.
Yeah. So they might want the whole haul, but
yeah.
Can we do a rapid refund? No,
good question. Good question. So here's the deal. So there's some people that have not filed their taxes yet, and they can still file electronically with their new taxes and get that money quicker than an amendment tax return. So if you're a sole proprietor or LLC and you're doing an amendment, it's going to take a minimum of 16 weeks for your return to come back.
Gotcha.
But if you hadn't filed yet, right, when in the tax and if you had not filed an extension, October the 15th is the date that you got to do it for this tax year, right? Gotcha. And so now this is going to be your first time doing your 2021 electronic filing. You can get that money back sooner than 16 weeks.
And just one more follow-up question, then we're going to go to a commercial break. She said, but this can be paid with the refund. And again, I think that's going to be each preparer's discretion if they want to.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, don't nobody know you.
Just run it and file it and owe it all.
Right, yeah, you go. As soon as that, I'll see you on Facebook in Cancun.
We'll go to commercial break. All right, so let's go to commercial break and we'll be back and answer some more questions.
All right, let's roll.
Yes, sir.
Your success ain't gonna happen overnight. It may take a year, it may take 2 years, it may even take 10 years. For some people, it might take even longer than that. But one thing I do know, as long as you keep fighting and staying consistent, you will make it. Look in the mirror and ask yourself, are you gonna make it?
Creed. Step in that water, step in that water, step in that water. Yeah. You gotta be willing to go out and get it. You gotta dive in and go and get it. Step in that water, step in that water, step in that water. Yeah.
Man, love it, love it.
And shout out to the homie Miracle. Is one of our official barber for the Floor Is Yours podcast, and he got some nice gear and accessories too. So if you're in the Dallas area, hit the brother Miracle up and see what he got.
Man, I'm right like on. Need a cut, boy. That
hey,
boy
Josh, he was literally in walking distance when you was here giving you a seminar. He was in walking distance.
Oh, okay.
In fact, right across for that massage parlor, man. That's where he was.
Man, don't be telling off on me, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, that's our class, man. When he come in, man, he getting his toes done. He good.
Hey, when you said massage parlor, I think that kind of threw him. He threw that parlor on it. You know what that parlor means.
Okay. Back. Hey, listen. I got something I want to interject right here. Terrence said he said it twice, at least. This buzzword, skeptical, the skepticism in our community, right? Let's talk about that. It ain't really, and me and the producer were talking about this before we came on the show. It's not skepticism, it's fear. Because what a skeptic does, a skeptic would go research information to prove it wrong or prove it right, right? So it's fear. Here's where the fear comes from. Everybody knows about Wesley Snipes, went to jail for 3 years for supposedly tax evasion. It was not the case. They had 44 trumped up charges on this brother, right, for tax evasion. So how did he come to the IRS preview? How did they recognize him? It wasn't him. It was his cold-blooded CPA out in California. The brother got a $10 million tax return. Right. And so they looked at this boy out, this CPA out in California. He getting his clients money. They paying no taxes. He running the game legally, morally, and ethically. So come after Wesley Snipes, biggest name on the roster, most popular, and going to get that IRS fear put into the people. 44 charges on this brother. Had him expedited from another country. right? Come back. All 44 charges dropped. Not one of those tax evasion anything. What they found 3 years that he had not filed taxes. He made money in America and then filed taxes. And so when you make money in America and don't file taxes, all Americans, listen to me, it carries a 1-year jail sentence, but they don't come after you for that, right? Came after Wesley Snipes. So what did he do? He had his lawyer, his CPA rather, calculate the interest, the penalties that was due for those 3 years, wrote him a check, paid him. They still send the brother to jail. That's that fear. That's that fear they generate. They generate so much fear out of messing up that man's life for 3 years. Right?
Yeah. But I don't want us to gloss over what you said, because I know, a lot of my people that don't file taxes on the regular. Yeah. And you saying that comes with a 1-year jail time, but typically they don't come after.
Yeah, they don't come because they put me in jail. They don't. Who Joshua Pondex? Nobody know who I am.
Yeah,
and that's why I'm afraid to be on this show. I don't want that much publicity.
Oh, man. So here's another question now.
What is it?
What determines how much you get? So you said it's up to $36,000.
Up to $36,200 is the maximum benefit that you can claim. So what it is? It's Form 7202. It's a period of days that you're claiming for yourself and for someone else in your home that you took care of, who was impacted by COVID, right? So I can claim a maximum of 50 days for myself, or I can claim a maximum of 20 days for myself, and I can claim a maximum of 50 for a child who's out of school that I've taken care of. So there's rules to it, right? But you claim these, and most people meet these guidelines because they had children that was out of school and things of this nature. And so if you max out, you can get the $36,200, right? So most preparers, are conservative, so they're not going to max you out. You know what I'm saying? Because they like to stay underneath the radar. I had a husband and wife that had an LLC. They got a check for $62,000 from the unit. I'm talking about that's life changing. That especially when you got a family income of 40 grand.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Josh, so when you say affected, does that mean though? Could affected mean that, okay, I didn't actually catch it, but that could have affected me from being able to perform work, or in my business, it could have affected me from being able to do seminars, or something that affected me that stopped me from making money. Basically,
you were impacted by COVID. You actually had the virus. Right.
Okay.
You do not need a positive test to prove that you had it, but you had it. You don't know you don't know you had it. You had it. I was sick 4 or 5 times in the last 3 years, right? And the one time that I really got sick and I went and tested myself, it was COVID, right? So between 2020 when it hit us, probably actually November, December 2019, right? Yeah, all that period of time, right, to 2021, January 2021, you can claim time in 2021, periods of time for yourself, periods of time for your child, claim the credit, get with your preparer. There is no proving up that I had, because I got to have a positive test. You don't have to, I went to, did test at Walgreens or whatever, right? Got 4 or 5, positives, right?
Yeah.
But hey, not even asking for that. You could do the home kit, whatever, right?
And not only that too, Josh, you got to remember at the height of when it was bad, they was telling people because the medical system was overwhelmed, they was telling them that it was like dire to stay home anyway.
Yep.
Man, thank you so much. Thank you so much. You got to, you sneezing, you're coughing, we can't do nothing for you unless you need a respirator or bed. Don't come down here
anyway. Yeah.
So you had it.
Yeah, man, it's
We
good.
got some more questions, please.
Yeah, and then to the audience, if you got any more questions, keep them coming. We'll be sure we get to them. We appreciate everyone that's sent them in so far. But hey, I just want to let everybody know that this man is not just taxes; he is a financial guru. And I'm going to present one from a good friend of mine. They have a taxi business, and they were thinking about how to expand. And I know one thing you mentioned was they could possibly do like medical transports or
non-emergency, transport, non-medical, where you can take people to get the groceries, you can take people shopping, you can take seniors for doctor's appointments, a whole you got to get out, you got to get out of the paradigm, as they say, out of the paradigm, make a paradigm shift. If you want to evolve and stay self-employed, you know what I'm saying? This is what this noggin is for, to think of positive ways that you can make revenue with the resources you have. You got trucks and cars and vans and stuff like that. I'm taking you to church. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna just sit down there and cry that this drew up and I got some equipment that I can put to work, right? What they call that, Trugo,
Turo
or something, I don't know. Put it to work. Put that equipment to work. Leasing it out to somebody else who want to be non-medical, and they don't have to be a cab driver and go through all those regulations. So got to definitely, when it comes to business, you got to definitely get yourself together.
So Rosie said hello from Dallas, Texas. Is this being recorded?
She ain't from Dallas, Texas. She's from Texarkana, Arkansas.
Oh, that's one of your friends. Okay.
Yeah. Come on, stop trying to high side. I'm from Dallas. No, you're from Texarkana, Arkansas. I know. Yeah.
So this says you can go back to my page, Josh page, or Superman page.
Isn't it on YouTube? Don't you guys on YouTube?
You're right. We're on YouTube as well, broadcasting live, and you can go to the Floor Is Yours podcast page, and it's there too. So appreciate you, Ms. Rosie, for tuning in.
Absolutely.
So here's another question about not a question. I just want to talk about what you said earlier about getting a tax strategy that allows you to put money back in your pocket so you can invest it in your business. That's what I've benefited from. When I heard your pitch in the beginning, you talked about reducing your tax burden 50 to 70%, and I was like, another one of those too good to be true little deals. But I'm telling you, 10 minutes into the to you talking, man, and I was like, I see how now that. So I did. I paid for your services, and immediately we set up a tax strategy for myself, and I was able to dump money and invest into the podcast, and not just let Uncle Sam have it.
You probably $60,000 in 12 months richer. No,
at least.
Yeah. And you ain't paid me no $60,000. So
hey, and because you didn't ask for it, you're affordable.
I didn't ask for it. I ain't trying to, I'm telling you, I'm not ripping my people off. So we're gonna shift. But before we leave, Form 7202, you can go to the irs.gov, download this form, give it to your tax preparer. If they can't comprehend it, contact these gentlemen here. They will get you in contact with me, right? So if you don't come through these guys, I'm not talking to you, right? And so
exclusive.
Yes, right. So you can get some information. Don't you guys take subscription, donation, or something on here that can pay, whatever?
Yeah,
But
good old. Yeah, we just
Oh,
like
yeah.
to get back to the community, so that's our
yeah,
requirement.
this right. Yeah, so right. So tax strategy, right? It's critical, as we stated when we started this conversation, that 50 to 70% of your income is exposed to taxation, income taxes, sales taxes, excise taxes, property taxes, business taxes, right? So the tax burden, that's exactly what it is. It's a burden on the middle class, and everybody strive to be middle class, right? Which is bad, right? You should either want to be poor or rich.
That's
They
another
don't pay,
show. 'Cause
yeah,
I
they
got
don't place in that, right? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so yeah, so taxes, it's a burden, right? And so the only strategy that's available to the American people is having a business, right? So when you have a business, you can begin to ship some of your earnings from your W-2 job over to fund your business, right?
Yeah.
Research and development, marketing, sales, education, right? So all of this can come from your W-2 job. So if you make that, as I saw, add the IRS has funds to start a business. Is that true? That's a question. That's a good question. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know nothing about it.
I think there's a lot of those commercials
Yeah,
that come in and
yeah,
say,
they killing us,
Yeah.
right?
yeah,
This grant here,
Yep.
the IRS, that's not their function. Their function is to impound taxes from the citizenry, right? They collect tax revenue. That's all that they do, right? They impound. We call it impounding. When you work a W-2 job, they impound your taxes. You pay them before you get out of the door, right?
Mhm.
So, so Rosie, I don't believe that the IRS would be doing that, because that's not their function, right?
Yeah.
So taxes, you need a tax strategy. The strategy that we provide are moral, the legal, the ethical. They pass that test, right? And like I was saying, you need a business to reduce your tax liability legally, morally, and ethics. So you start running a business, so everything that you do in a business can become deductible, right? If you do it right, right? If it's reasonable and ordinary, right? So it was reasonable for me to, when I came to do the workshop for the floor is yours podcast in Dallas, Texas area. It was reasonable for me to get on a plane, right? It was reasonable for me to stay in a hotel. I could have got a rental car, right? But I was, I had a motorcade, that car you had. So I had meals, right?
Yeah.
All of that tax deductible,
Yeah.
right? 100% in the United States of America,
Yeah.
right? So that's beautiful. So
And
those
not
are,
only that, Josh, you came to a beautiful city in a beautiful area with a lot to do. So it wasn't just
oh
all.
man, this is true. I had a wonderful time. I, met met you guys face to face. That was beautiful. Those connections, we still, had to be something. We still connected, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And we did it from business, right?
Yeah.
Friendships based upon business is better than having a friendship and then starting a business. They always go bad. You see what I mean?
Yeah. It's mix business and pleasure. That's why I get it.
Right. So now you can actually live your life as a corporation. Joshua Pondexter, he functioned as a company, right? I don't work as an individual anymore. Everything I do through my company. When I eat, when I talk on my cell phone, when I travel, I'm traveling as a business. So everything I do in the United States of America, in the CONUS, is 100% tax deductible. Now I go outside the country, I can make it 50% tax deductible if I go to Puerto Rico, go to
When I went to
Panama.
Jamaica.
Right, yeah, right. And you did your podcast from there, right?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
flights, the hotel, all that stuff become tax deductible. Tax code lists us as corporations, not citizens anymore. All right, okay. The Well, corporations are people, and you know how you list it is fine, but you want to be able to take advantage of whatever your identification is. You know, I identify as a male, and I take full advantage of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so tax strategies are critical because 50 to 70%, you make $100,000, your wife make $100,000, that's $200,000 of income. Could you imagine 70% of that going out the door in taxes?
You don't think about it because this is the way we live. We've accustomed to
Right.
just swiping and not to go too far left, Josh, but you in one of your classes you talk also about in one of your trainings you talked about the fees. So you couple taxes with the fees that are associated with credit cards and
Oh yeah.
startups and all that. And it just for me it makes sense to get
Right.
with you and have this strategy and figure out how to best utilize what I got going on so it can maximize my money.
So yeah, those are two impediments to building wealth in America: taxes and fees. Right? We understand there's fees in transaction. I don't want T. Will to not get his money for aiding me, assisting me, serving me to get my dream home. Right? Right. But I don't want him to like charge me 12%.
Right.
Yeah, that's astronomical. That's
Right. But there are some people that are doing that.
Oh yeah.
The stock market. That's what they do, right? They charge you these astronomical hidden fees. So you got to be very sensitive to fees because it's robbing you of your wealth, not only taxes, right? So if you're interested in building wealth, right, joshuapondexter.com, that's my website. We have a wealth building program. If you want to build wealth in real estate, you want to build a stock portfolio, or you want to build a business, what are three major areas that businesses, that wealth is held in America, right? So I want to tell you, I make $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year. I'm wealthy. You ain't got no business. You ain't got no portfolio of real estate where you can reduce those taxes and those fees. I don't really think so. You're a super taxpayer.
Super taxpayer.
Right. Yeah.
But you know what else too? I want to add to that, Josh, too, about, and I know businesses ain't for everybody because you talk to people about this and they, well, I don't know and all that, but it's just certain things that you can do to get, like you said, create your LLC, go into business. Because what I've discovered just creating my business in the last 2 years is how you can start doing a lot over in your business that takes the liability and the responsibility from your personal side.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I don't want to make it sound like you hide stuff, but you actually are, because if you're doing a lot of stuff in your business name and you're able to eyes, then even when you go get like loans and stuff like that, it doesn't show up because now you don't have that high DTI and stuff factor to factor into, if you're trying to
Buying
get
property.
loan, stuff like that. So just having a business, man, it helps, man. I'm telling you, just the little key things like that helps you.
Well, T. William, I appreciate you bringing that fact out because there's nothing wrong with it because there's, let's say on the low end, there's 6,000 pages to the IRS code, right? It's over 6,000 pages. Only we're going to say only 70 pages is dedicated for the consumer. The rest of them are for business owners, right? What we call incentives, what your government wants you to do, right? So if you do what you want if you do what the government wants you to do, he subsidizes your activity, right? Yeah, that's it. That's all it is. You got 70 pages that governs the W-2 workers. This is your tax bracket. This is your deductions. This is how much you can get for a child credit. This is, all those little. There's only 70 pages dedicated to that. The rest of those pages are what we call incentives for business owners to do what if you house people in real estate, if you invest in certain sectors of the economy, clean energy, agriculture, things of this nature, the government subsidize municipal bonds. You can begin to get, and we got a workshop that we do called Tax-Free Living on that, right? So
Good.
taxes is a big deal. I definitely appreciate you guys. We don't want to go over no more than an hour. So Form 7202. This is the COVID tax credit. And what's crazy, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna read this to you slowly. It's called, let me get it right. It's called the credits for sick leave and family leave for certain self-employed individuals. And that's certain self-employed individuals or people who have a Schedule C, a sole proprietorship, or LLC. If you have an S corporation or C corporation, this tax credit is not for you. There's other tax credit that you need to go search for and look for.
And can they amend and change to an LLC from
Right, I know, right? Yeah. So
for 30 grand?
right. Yeah. So and so if you are in S corporation and you need to have a conversation, contact the show, and you guys are gonna let them know how to contact you.
Absolutely.
So that we could have a conversation to see if there's any legal, moral, ethical, and creative way that we can show you how to get this tax credit.
So this has been fun, man, and we right at the top of the hour. So we always end with some parting thoughts, words of wisdom from from anybody that want to give them. So we'll go with T. Will first, and then we'll let Josh and wrap it up.
Man, I just want to say, I know a lot of it is just sounds cliche and all that stuff, but about your finances, I would tell everybody, man, stay on top of your finances. Um, stay on top of your credit. Because if you don't have a whole lot of money these days, man, credit is like a lifeline. Seriously. Like if your credit is decent, good, however that is, I mean, it is truly in this day and time a lifeline, because credit can get you and help you do things that you normally couldn't do without it. So, if I could just plug in on anything, make sure your credit straight. And if you have any questions or anything, reach out to any one of us, because we pretty well versed. I'm still learning business credit, but because that's a different beast. But personal credit, I think I'm pretty well versed in that. I know Josh is. G done got his game up. He fighting over there with he calling me. T, look at this. I got this. Look at my score now. Look, man, that little tip right there, man. I'm up like this. So I'm just telling y'all, it's really, credit is really a game. It's not hard. It's not made for us to understand. But once you learn how to play the game, man, it's like you become an expert at it. You know what it does to bring your numbers up and what you can do to bring it down. So I would just say, get in the game, learn how to play the game, and elevate yourself.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, and Josh,
wonderful. And just to add about the business credit, it must be something to it. Netflix have $200 billion of credit.
Wow.
It must be something. It must be something to it. Must be something worth investigating, right? Yeah. So listen, I enjoy disseminating this information. I want to thank you, brothers, for inviting me on the show. We've been on a hiatus personally for 6+ months, right? Yeah. So it does appear, like I said, guess who back? You know what I'm saying? We do a Facebook Live show, Joshua Pondexter, every Friday morning. It's financial. You can ask questions, motivational, personal development. You can go to joshuapondexter.com, our website. We help you with asset protection, estate planning, marketing for your business, writing business plan. Hey, listen, we're here to, T. Will, we're here to serve.
Man, weren't we just talking about that, Josh?
Yes, sir.
Right
Yes, sir.
before we came on, we was talking about selling and stuff like that, and we was like,
Right.
man, we're in the service business, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, producer.
Hey, so you know the game, like Miss Cookie say, tell your mom and them, tell your dad and them, and even tell your haters because they're gonna turn into your biggest supporters, man. Hey,
Yes.
we
Right.
all things about our community here. We're serious. We like to have fun with it, but we are serious about what we do. And I just, my little quick word is there was a lot that I didn't know, and that was the difference. Now I connected to people that do know,
Yes, sir.
and it made the world different. I didn't have to learn it myself. People are willing to teach you. And that thing that Josh talked earlier about skeptical, about people being skeptical. It's the difference between skeptical and being fearful. People being fearful, just stay away from it. It's okay to investigate, learn information, arm yourself with the right info, and make a move. So follow us on the podcast page. We're on YouTube. So you people that's not on Facebook, let them know they can go to YouTube and follow us there. And we're always putting information out on our Instagram and TikTok page just to stay engaged with the community. So appreciate everybody. And Josh, we'll see you back here at least once a month going forward.
Yes, sir.
Look,
I guess
y'all heard it here.
I guess I'm committed. All right, brothers. Love y'all, man.
All right, man.
Check
Y'all
out
have a good evening.
the
Okay.
outro.
All right. Okay.
Now it's my turn to tell y'all about my big bro Gerard in the podcast crew. From TJ the realist, Miss Cookie the professor, and you can't forget about the inspiration shit. They talk about it all, got advice for us all. You'll never know how deep the talks will go. On the weekdays, the weekends, they be going live with the topics. Then they do the segment where the floor is yours. You can post your comments, You can post your statements, yeah. You can ask your questions, They can help you get your life moving in the right direction. If you need advice on marriage, advice on finance, advice on healing, advice on credit, this the podcast that you need to check out. Go ahead and tune in, you'll feel what I'm talking about.
Baby, I'ma get the phone is yours. Yeah, baby, I mean the phone is yours. Baby, come down to the phone is yours. Let me show you how the phone is yours. Hey, the floor is yours. The floor is yours. Nah, 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 nah. The floor is yours. The floor is yours. Nah, 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 nah. The floor is yours.
Until next time, peace.
All right, brothers.